In this video, we are going to learn about what a wireless sensor network is and how it works. In this figure, we can see that a sensor network consists of a target field in which sensor nodes are deployed in a random fashion to gather the information about the sensor network. And also, apart from these sensor nodes, one another component is the sync node, which is called as a base station as well. Now, these sensor nodes sense the data from the environment and send it to the base station. Now, this transmission towards the base station can be done in a multi-hop fashion. Here in this figure, we can see that these sensor nodes are sending the data towards the base station in a multi-hop fashion, and the sensor node which is directly close to the base station will send its data in a direct single hop manner. Fine. So after that, once the data is collected at the base station, then network operator can access this information while using the internet. Now we will see that what are the application areas from where we get the motivation to work with the sensor network. Now these are the application areas where sensor network can be applied, like sensor network can be used for the purpose of disaster management, like for the to monitor about the earthquake, volcanic eruption, tsunami, etc. Precision agriculture can also be done using the sensor network, where the crop yield can be maximized by measuring the like soil moisture, etc. And the patient health can also be monitored using the sensor network. Further, the pollution control monitoring can be done using the sensor network. Home safety can also be ensured using the sensor network. So we have seen that there are many applications where the sensor network can be applied, and then there are many more applications. So but these applications require that sensor network should work in a seamless fashion for a longer duration for their precise monitoring. But the problem lies in the hardware architecture of the sensor node. In a sensor node, there are four main units, that is sensing unit, processing unit, communication unit, and the power unit. Sensing unit basically helps in the sensing of the data from the environment. A processing unit helps in the processing of the data which has been collected by the sensor node from the environment, like data aggregation and all. And the communication unit helps in the transmitting and the receiving of the data from the environment. Power unit consists of a power unit consists of a battery which is having a very limited lifetime. This power unit supplies the energy to the rest of the unit for their proper functioning. Like here in this figure, we can see that these all the units are working with the help of power unit. Now apart from these four units, there are three other units, like location finding system, which helps in finding out the location of the sensor node. Mobilizer helps in the making the movement in the position of the sensor nodes. Power generator unit helps in harvesting the energy from the external environment. Now, but because this harvested energy is discontinuous in nature, so we cannot rely on the power generator unit as a backup to the power unit. This external power can be in the form of like solar energy, mechanical energy, etc. So this power unit, we have to utilize efficiently this power unit so that a sensor network can work for a longer duration in a seamless fashion. Now, as per the energy model, energy consumption during the transmission depends on is given using this equation, and it depends on the distance between sender and receiver. Rest parameters are kind of constant values. Here d is the distance between sender and receiver, so lesser will be the distance, lesser will be the energy consumption, and vice versa. Like this is the equation with respect to the energy consumption and reception, which is here in this equation we can see that energy consumed during the reception is kind of constant value, and similar is the case for the sensing operation. Here in this table we can see that it is showing the energy consumption of Rockwell Winds seismic sensor node. And from this table we can conclude that energy consumption during the transmission is much more as compared to the rest of the operation. So if we want to minimize the energy consumption, we have to work on the transmission operation. We have to give more focus on the transmission operation as compared to the rest of the operations, so that we can minimize the energy consumption. Now the first motivation, that is the first problem that we have solved, is the load unbalancing problem. What this problem says, that when the sensor nodes are deployed randomly into the environment, these sensor nodes, if the sensor node will select their parent node in a random fashion, so as to transfer the data towards the base station, if these sensor nodes will select the parent node in a random fashion, then it may be there are greater chances that some of the nodes will get much more load as compared to the rest of the node. Like here in these in this figure, these highlighted nodes are showing the problem of load unbalancing. These highlighted nodes are getting much more load as compared to the rest of the nodes in their periphery. So what will happen, that these sensor nodes which are highlighted and getting much more load as compared to the nodes, they will die earlier as compared to the rest of the node, and it will lead to the early first node death, and hence the network lifetime will get decreases, because the network will get disconnected, and the packet delivery ratio and the various parameter will also degrade. So if we solve in this lecture series, we will see that how we have resolved this problem of load unbalancing, and we have given various models to handle this problem. And now the second motivation, the second problem that we have worked with the clustering architecture, that is the non-uniform selection of the cluster head and the frequent reclustering. What this problem says, that as we know that cluster heads, or we can say the clustering architecture helps us in minimizing the energy consumption, but if the cluster heads are selected in a non-uniform fashion, then these cluster heads, it may be chances that some of the nodes will not have any cluster heads in their periphery, and what it will lead to, that the sensor nodes which are having cluster head, they will work for a longer duration, and the sensor nodes which are having no cluster heads in their periphery, they will die earlier, and hence the network lifetime will get decreased. So this is one of the problem of non-uniform selection of the cluster head. And the second problem is, as we know that frequent reclustering has to be done, so that no particular node will get die earlier as compared to the rest of the nodes. So the rotation of the cluster heads is required, but if the rotation of the cluster head is done in a frequent fashion, then it will lead to the load of transfer of the control packet and the data packet among the sensor nodes, and it will lead to the more energy consumption. So these are the two problems that we have focused on in case of clustering architecture, that is non-uniform selection and the frequent reclustering. Now the third area that where we have worked is the continuous monitoring. Like as I have discussed earlier, that there are many applications where the sensor network can be applied, but these application requires that sensor network should work in a seamless fashion for a continuous for a longer duration in a continuous manner. So if we want that sensor network should work in a seamless fashion for a longer duration, for an infinite duration, then it is required that some extra hardware needs to be embedded in between, so that the network will work in a seamless fashion for a longer duration.